This is a message from your guides reading for the child. I have two crystals with me today. I have my Shadakite and my Lapis Lazuli, which I'm pretty sure I've gone over both of these in different readings. The Lapis Lazuli, I know for sure I have several times. So I'm going to go ahead and surround this in some protective space with my Shadakite here. Okay, so you have a male guide coming in. I don't know how much I've gone over the shadow kite before. So really quick, this has to do with different psychic abilities and tuning into those, enhancing those. And then it also has to do at the same time with earth energies, grounding and connecting, and especially healing, specifically healing with earth energies, and then of course healing abilities in general. I don't know if I've picked up on this specific guide before or not. No, no, he's saying that he came in recently. Okay, okay, I forgot about that. So he is talking about the name. During the last reading, he gave his name. So this would be that guide. And he's feeling very intense. So it's like a very kind of calm feeling coming over everything. At the same time, he feels very focused. So he's feeling kind of determined, but at the same time, there is this kind of healing, calming, cleansing kind of feeling. I feel like I want to throw in the word cleansing there too, because it's not only a calm I'm feeling. There's like at the same time, it's not only healing something, it also feels like trying to repair different things and get different things working. But also like cleanse different things out, and he's very focused on that. He's not really saying anything. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do some more clearing with the lapis lazuli. Okay, so okay, so a couple of things. One would be this snake. I don't know. Okay, no, this isn't a totem. So this is a representation of your Kundalini awakening, which still hasn't happened yet. But there's a feeling. There's definitely a feeling of you being on the cusp of that happening. And it does feel like it's being kind of stirred up by something already. So you're triggering it by things that you're doing. Now this might be referring to things that they brought up in different readings that you've already been doing. Oh, this is also having to do with this twin flame thing that you've been mentioning in some of your emails. So some of it is also a change in perspective, and then a release of different old baggage and different things that was triggered by that. But I feel like this guide is wanting to trigger other things because he's talking about the last couple of years, but I feel like especially the last year, it feels like there's been a lot of changes already. There's been a lot of growth that has happened. And especially inwardly, a lot has changed. And you've seen a lot on the outward, but due to the inward being so much more healed, repaired, renewed. He was using the word intact, and he's saying almost more solid, or he's saying like come together almost. And I feel like this is even a little bit of a reference to almost like soul retrieval, or like he's talking about like pieces of yourself coming together, and also as almost false pieces are breaking away and being dispersed and released. So a lot of that's been happening over the past couple of years, but then especially the past year, and even more so he's saying like the past half a year, the past like around 6 months in there. A lot has been triggered, a lot has been released, and you've been moving forward at a quick pace. And he's saying there's been a lot that's drastically shifted and drastically changed, but at the same time, you can see different things that you would like to drastically change that are still there. And especially, it feels like in this case, he's referring to outer things, some inner things as well. Definitely, he's saying. No doubt there are inner things as well. Um, where you can experience growth and changes and drastically as well. But he is referring mostly to outer things. showing me a sun, and he's talking about the difference almost between night and day. Like sometimes growth literally provides that kind of a contrast or difference that you can see and that's really tangible to you. He's saying almost like you can smell it, you can taste it. He's even saying like in the air, you can almost like smell it or taste it in the air. So this is still meaning more almost like an ethereal type of thing. This is why he's saying the air. So he's still meaning something like more like inwardly, but you can see the growth externally as well in your behaviors, in what you're attracting in your communications with others. And he's saying that's mostly how it's come out for you. But what he wants to see change now would be more like grounding, more in terms of finances, even friendships. And even the healing like of the relationship that you're in, it feels like a deep healing, and there's this word coming in like solidifying, where you're almost like grounded together, you're walking together more firmly, more like rooted in one another. And almost like where you know who you are more. He's meaning this even like as like a soul and as a couple. So this would be like a twin flame thing. This is definitely feeling like, sounding like. And you can step forward in that and you can create something that is new, and new opportunities and different things are created by that. Because he's saying, because this is your partner, and when that's really like sound and secure, then almost like think of all the things that you can create. And that even means separately though. Even if you're not doing the same things, there's still this sense of grounding even in that as well. And I feel like that needs to happen. It feels like that hasn't really happened yet. And he's also saying you can be somebody's twin flame or you can be somebody's soulmate. And there can still be this distance. There can still be things that haven't come together because this person is reflecting you, and someone who is so like part of your soul group in that way, so kind of entrenched in your own energy field, sometimes they can reflect you even more so. They can have issues that they bring up for you, or as well positive traits, good traits as well. There's also this he's showing me like a plane, and he's talking about you flying high. But some of this even feels physical, where it refers to physical travels. I feel almost like you don't get to travel as much and even together as much as you would like because of expense. I feel like that's going to be taken care of more and more in the coming years. Like the coming few years, though, it feels like. It feels like things need time to kind of grow and expand and be replaced and almost retaught. But it feels like within about 4 years, it feels like all of that will be completely completed. It feels like there's going to be cycles that are totally diminished. And it feels like there are going to be a lot of financial worries that are like pretty much just long gone, it feels like. It feels like this next year some things are going to start being established. Which will follow by seeing a lot of growth with those certain things. This is all finances that he's talking about, though. And of course, he's saying that this is on a certain track of energy that things are headed towards right now. So he's saying you can move on or off this course. But the way things are headed now, you're on it. And you can always move back on it if you were to get off. But I feel like 4 years, he's talking about things being really solid. Very, not, It almost feels like amateur, inexperienced, but I also feel like he's meaning a word more, I would say, like new. But you're going to have things more to, okay. So you're going to be starting something new, in other words. At first, you're going to be more experienced, more inexperienced with whatever it is. You're also going to be newer to business in general and certain concepts that kind of go along with that. At first, it almost feels like you might be trudging along a little bit, kind of working through this kind of ick or something, this kind of energy there. Feels like, I don't know why I'm saying ick, almost like, kind of like a sludgy kind of thing that you're kind of moving through at first as you're still releasing old stuff, but you'll have the idea down and you'll be implementing it and you'll be getting things moving. But it feels like slowly you'll come out of that and you'll start to thrive and grow. And business kind of concepts that were new to you at first, some things will change. You'll toss certain things, and you'll have more of a kind of system in your own mind of what you're putting out and what you're getting in return. And I'm getting different words. The content you're providing, I'm getting the service or services it could be that you're providing. And some of this does feel partially internet based, at least partially. It could be all. So it could be all, or it could be like the majority of it. Over half, anyway, it feels like. So whether it's the high majority or even kind of the middle or lowish majority. It feels like most of it, maybe all of it, is going to be more like internet based. It really feels higher, feels more like higher than lower. So it does feel like this is more of an internet thing, whatever you're going to be doing. He's also saying that that almost makes it easier to grow clientele and different things. But he's also saying that you have to get more confident and that you don't really know what you're going to be doing yet, but part of it is actually because of a lack of confidence. He's also saying skill in some ways. He's saying that in some ways you almost should lack some confidence if you don't have experience with a certain skill or a certain talent. Because he's calling that a reflex. That's something to almost let you know I don't have experience in that yet, or I'm not as qualified as I would need or want to be in that quite yet. So there might even be some kind of training that you get for certain things. And it does feel like it would be of a spiritual nature, but he's also saying that that's kind of vague. And he doesn't want to just tell it to you through a reading. It feels like it's going to come through more your own head, and you need to get more clear on that at first, where you would want to see yourself and the types of things that you would want to be doing. Um, and then he can clarify some of those things or not through a reading, or he can add to some of those things. But still, that feels like that's got to come from you more, the initial like ideas, and then you'll know more what to work on, because he's saying that right now it's kind of too vague, but some of this is having to do with almost like a confidence level, or not being sure, or not knowing how you could do something. And he's saying not to worry about that, just think about, focus on what would you want to be doing. And he's saying the training that you would need for certain things. Other things, maybe you wouldn't need anything like that for. He's saying certain things you would, even just for your confidence level. That's actually part of it, he's saying. And then some of it is actual skill to actually learn a craft, whatever that might be, and learn to do it well and feel more confident with it. So yeah, so don't focus on don't say all these what ifs, or maybe not because of this, because I don't have training in this, or I don't know what to do, or any of those doubts that might come up. And again, they're due to like a lack of self-confidence, which makes sense, like you said, in some of the cases because of skill or inexperience and not really quite knowing what to do, but that doesn't matter. Anybody can get training in something and be better at it, especially if they have like a natural knack for it, for whatever it is, which he's saying that you do. And you'll know what that is if you just sort of self-examine and just go with what would you want to be doing? What do you see yourself doing? What would you like to be able to do? But again, the category is spiritual in nature. It is spirituality. It is spiritual based. So you have that footing and that vague understanding. He's using that word again. You just need to start working towards it, as vague as that is, by refining it, which means writing down where you see yourself, what you would like to be doing, despite training or not knowing exactly what to do or how to do something. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just write down whatever you would like to do or whatever you would envision. It feels like this coming year, it feels like you're going to get more set on what you want to do. And then you're going to move forward with things like, again, like training. If there are certain areas where you feel that you lack skill or knowledge in certain things, or just again like inexperience, you haven't done it before, so you want to get better at it, or you want training in that. Maybe you want to feel more qualified in it or gain more expertise in it. And that's all fine, and that's what you're going to be focused on. Especially, it feels like during the first half of the year, and even it feels like coming into the fall a little bit. But by the end of the year, things will definitely already be pretty much implemented. Implemented. So I can't say everything about fall. Again, he's saying this. Again, this is where the energy is headed right now. So fall might be you've already had some training and there's already some things that you're just beginning to do and start. But then coming to the end of the year, that's going to seem a little bit more structured, it feels like. where you know a little bit more what to do or what exactly you're setting up. So you have those ideas a little bit more concrete where you have the foundation. And then the end of that year, and especially going into year 2, you're going to be setting that up more soundly. And then followed by that year really being about whatever it is, building it up and getting more of a financial kind of footing. But he's saying, but you'll also be doing what you love and what you know how to do. You're going to feel like you know how to do it. So it's not going to only be what you love, it's going to be what you know and love. And what you're good at, in other words. So you're just going to feel better at it. You're overall going to have more confidence in whatever it is in this spiritual category. You're going to be able to do it more easily, more effortlessly, whereas there was a block before, he's saying. And this might be several things. This could be multiple things that you study or get some kind of training for. But in the end, you'll succeed, and it feels like it will pay off not only when it comes to a financial footing, but just the fact that you waited until you found what you really wanted to do and you stuck to that, and now you're doing what you really want. Versus not being sure what you want and just going into something like normal people do. And then you're kind of like stuck in it. As he's saying, that just sets you up for a whole other, a whole different kind of set of blocks, basically, that you have to then remove because you're doing something that you don't want to be doing and you're stuck in that and doing that. And you prefer making money, so you stay in that. And that's like a whole block that you don't want to get into and that you've luckily avoided. But now you have to figure out how to get out of this one that you're in. Get rid of this one that you are in. Get rid of this block that you're in. So he's saying that that's your assignment. This is your new homework, is what he's calling it. Okay, so this is all that he has to say, that your guides have to say for this reading. Okay, so thank you very much for allowing me to do another one, and I will see you in the next one. Namaste.